This is Wrestling's Richest Prize, the All-Father, Mr. Darius Carter. And if I love wrestling, you love wrestling, then we love wrestling.
Welcome to We Love Wrestling Spot. Today, we have somebody special here. If you're watching wrestling on the East Coast, there's no way you don't know who this man is. Promotion after promotion, main event after main event, you can see this guy in that promotion, and people are going to talk about him. He is the Patriarch of Progress. He is the All-Father. This is Mr. Darius Carter. How are you doing, sir?
I waft that in. Smells excellent. Thank you for the kind introduction. I'm doing well. Wrestling's Richest Prize, the All-Father, firing on all cylinders, as earlier tweeted. I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad that you gave us the time. Before we get into it, I'm going to ask you the first question I always ask people. What started your love for wrestling, or why do you love wrestling?
Man, I always, ever since I was watching TV, it was wrestling. Fell in love with wrestling. You know, watching with the great-grandmother. We used to go there Sundays. And always watching the WWE, the live, the tapes. And as long as I can remember, wrestling was a part of my life. And I always knew that it was going to be a part of my life. I never stopped watching it. I never took an off period. It was the one constant in my life was wrestling. So it was meant to be.
I used to tell people that, like, it didn't matter what I was doing. I used to make sure I recorded wrestling when it was coming on. So whenever I had some free time, I could sit down and watch it. And that continued with me. Now, growing up watching wrestling, who's some of your favorite wrestlers?
Ric Flair was the number one. I loved Ric Flair. I loved everything that Ric Flair did. Just being the nature boy, just styling and profiling, everything he represented was what made me fall in love with it, really. And I appreciated every character, you know what I mean? I appreciated everyone for what they were. I always could see it like that, but Flair was just the constant. And also The Undertaker, too, was a huge inspiration, too, just in terms of being different. And just whenever he came out, it was just there was everyone else, and then there was The Undertaker. And the same thing could be said about Ric Flair. So I just felt like they were in leagues of their own, and that's what really grabbed me.
Leagues of their own. So two people you named are in the league of their own. I myself, I think of you as in a league of your own, because when I talk to people, I saw you, I heard about you a few years ago, and then, saw you again watching Camp Leapfrog, and I tweeted out, I was like, oh, Darius Carter out here wrestling. Not that you wasn't wrestling beforehand, but right, I'm like, right. You're sitting here looking at it. He's wrestling. People on the spectrum, they either love you or they hate you. So when I met you, I had to talk to you. So why do you think people think you're so polarizing like that? Because people love you, and there's people like, oh, Darius Carter, we're not going to.
That's most people is to hate me, and it is what it is. I think the people that support me understand the message on a deep level and understand what I'm about. Those are people that really know me and kind of have been close to me and see me evolve over the years. And I have evolved in so many ways. I've learned from mistakes, I've grown from errors, and I've just improved on top of already being good, and constantly improving. I'm never, in the same place. A year ago, I'm a much better Darius Carter today than I was this time last year. I was thankful enough to be able to prosper during the pandemic. I was still wrestling, still getting work. So still doing things for Warriors of Wrestling every month. And then other places started to creep in, and you're traveling and you're going to undisclosed locations, but you're doing what you have to do to put in work, to put the miles in, and to keep yourself fresh, ring fresh. And that's what I was doing. I made a lot of debuts over the pandemic. So it's been great for me. The Camp Leapfrog, as you mentioned, being one of them. That was a promotion I debuted at during the pandemic on Christmas Eve. So, I mean, you got to find opportunity when it seems scarce and when it seems limited. You have to go out and get it if you really want it. And that's always been the type of person I am. So people can love me, people can hate me. That's irrelevant to the fact of who I am. That's you know what I mean. That's not. I'm not based off of people's belief of me. I am who I am, and you see me for that, or you don't. So I don't know what to tell you.
That's basically it. I mean, when I saw you live, came out, I was like, okay, the crowd's into it. You know, people booing him. He's soaking it in. He's taking it. He's giving it back. You know, a lot of people, when I see them, and something I noticed about you, they don't use everything that's around them when they're wrestling. You bring the crowd and everybody into it. And can you talk about that? Because your storytelling, you do that in every match that I've seen, but a lot of wrestlers out here are not doing that.
I think that's the most important thing. And I feel like I've been talking about it this weekend just with different people in different places. But, you know, feeding off the crowd and the energy, I mean, that's so important to where you are. That's if you don't know where you are and what your audience is, then you really don't know what you're doing. You have to cater to that. If you see there are a lot of kids out there, you're going to wrestle differently. If you see there's older people, if you see the demographic, where it's very important, and catering to them and making sure that you acknowledge that they're there, letting them know that you see them there. That's very important. If I'm raking somebody's face, you know, I want people in the crowd to see it. I like to look in the fans' eyes and watch the terror, and they're like the moms and their hands over their mouth, and the kids like, oh, like I live for that. So to me, that's like a lot of wrestlers missing out on that. I don't know why they don't do that. They don't look at the crowd, they don't acknowledge the crowd, they just go through the moves, and they look nice, and it's fast and it's crisp, but the fans might as well not be there, you know, because you're not paying any attention. You haven't noticed a difference between the pre-pandemic and during the pandemic because you weren't doing anything for the crowd anyway. You were doing it all for yourself. So yeah. I don't know. That's so important to me, playing to the crowd.
That's a big thing for me, and I noticed that in your matches. I was like, he's using everything around him, even at Camp Leapfrog. He's talking to the competitors outside the ring, like he's doing the things that I like.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
So, I mean, if people don't, well, let's talk about it. The Better Business Bureau.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, out here y'all making some noise.
Well, it's I gotta say, it's firstly, it's the best business bureau now. Just because I was actually sent a cease and desist from the Better Business Bureau. I was, and a few publishing sites, because there were a lot of reviews that were coming out for Cassandra Cup. It was a big historic event. So it got a lot of traction, was trending worldwide. So it was getting a lot of press. And the moment they saw Better Business Bureau trending, I mean, I got you trending, you know, and they saw themselves trending, and they probably clicked on it. They're like, what did we do? They clicked on it, and they saw you, Darius Carter, Molly McCoy, Eel O'Neill, Killian McMurphy, Jordan. They're like, what is this? What is going on here? So I got them trending. So I hope if they're watching, say thank you at least next time. You know what I mean? When you be grateful. But yeah, they sent to C&D. So we're the BBB, the Best Business Bureau. And again, just so proud of every single person involved. Molly McCoy was just competing yesterday at the Polyam Cult Party for in a tremendous match. So I was excited for that, excited for Eel O'Neill representing, going out there against Billy Dixon and doing what he had to do. You know, I told him, win or lose, I said, you're a better man today than you were yesterday. Now you've been in the ring with him. Now you know what to expect, you know, and that's only growth. you know. So I'm glad to see them representing, and Best Sisters Bureau. I think I've said it before. I think we are the ultimate assembly of natural talent. Like, we have it all within that group. When you have myself, you have Killian McMurphy, you have Molly McCoy, you have Eel O'Neill, and you have Jordan Blade. I mean, the distinctions between the five of us, that represents every part of wrestling. Every flavor of ice cream that you want is represented there, and we're represented on high levels. Nobody's doing it like us. Nobody has the personalities that we have. So I'm excited to run shop on Billy again on his own show. Ashton Starr, Erica Lee, who is always getting mollywopped by Darius Carter. This is part of her life. It's on her calendar when she wakes up, and no matter what date it is, get mollywopped by Mr. Darius Carter, because I make this a daily occurrence. So that's going to be great. Ashton, I haven't gotten a ring yet, but he got really far in the Cassandra Cup, got to the final, so I'm interested in wiping the floor with him, literally with his hair. I mean, it's I'm just gonna mop the mat with his face, and that's gonna be fun. And then Mariah Moreno, and for the first time, so there's gonna be a lot of things. I'm excited. I'm very excited.
That's coming up July 10th, I believe. Is that on Fight TV or IWTV?
That's going to be on IWTV is the plan. They're going to be releasing it after. So, you know, just like the first one. The first one came out on IWTV October 29th. So that was a match of the year. That was me and Billy Dixon in the main event, and we legitimately were a 2020 match of the year candidate. So thank you to, you know, for seeing the match in that light, because we put in some work there. I mean, we're in a bar, and it was just a gruesome, grisly affair. You know, I stepped on his head. I put his face on the counter, and I stomped his skull. And I heard the clack. Beautiful. It was great. It's cathartic. It feels good. It feels good. It does.
Paris is bumping Solid Gold 21. Make sure you watch that when it comes out. Oh, I do have to talk about something else here. I was on Twitter, and I was just scrolling, and I saw a match that caught my eye. You got a lot of matches out here, but We Are Wrestling put up for their main event, you versus Trish Adora. I saw you tweet. You said, "Oh, I'm gonna love showing her the new ropes," and like it's something that you wait for, because a lot of people tout Trish as one of the best out here. You know, the Pan African World Dysphoria Champion. So, how do you feel about that match? Because I'm excited to see it and watch it and just see the build up to it.
Yeah, and you know, to be clear, there is a level of respect for Trish, because Trish has faced and beaten some of the best legitimately on the scene right now. I mean, she's in there with with Darius Lockhart, the other Darius, and the great man that I defeated before, so I do have to say this. But Trish, I see Trish. It's the truth. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. These are results. Look it up. But Trish has been in there again with the Wheeler Utahs, with the Lee Moriartys. So she's in that echelon of competitor. And I am too. I'm just not getting booked in those matches. So it's nice to have this match finally happen. It's excellent for me. It's something that I've wanted. It's something that I feel that I need, because I need to be in there with those people so that you understand how serious this is to me. You understand how real I am. Like, it's not just, oh, Darius Carter is great. Darius, no, I can go. And this is the world to me. I mean business in there. You know what I mean? And forget the chitter chatter, forget the whispers, forget the, oh, he's a great character, great promo. Okay, we know all those things. When the bell rings, I am a lethal competitor. I am a upper echelon, top of the line wrestler, and I want to prove that every time I step in the ring. And Trish is the person to prove that with. And that's what we're going to do. I did this with Erica Lee. I did this dance with her, and look at her. She's taken off. Now Pro Wrestling Magic heavyweight champion. So when we get in there, we're going to make some magic. And I'm going to do some things to her that nobody has ever done to her. And I'm interested in seeing how she responds to the things that I do to her, because I am going to put her through the ringer. And I'm excited to do so.
There's another match, but I can't really talk about that match because it hasn't been released yet. And I don't know when they're going to release it. So just let you know, it's another match that I'm looking at too. And I'll come back for that one. I want to talk about ring psychology. You start watching, looking at things that people tweet and everything, and you be putting up some posts that I'm like, this guy kind of gets me. Like, I understand him some type of way. And put up the Randy Orton. You said that whole feud where he went after Triple H and the family, which is one of my favorite programs WWE did. You said that's the type of psychology that you have. Can you go into that for me?
And that right there is an honor unto itself, because that's what I'm looking to do here. I'm looking to tell stories. I'm looking to craft a literal story before your eyes. Every time I step in that ring, you're like, oh, Darius Carter versus all these matchups you see me in, they make you like, oh, and it's like, because you want to see me and everything I am compete against someone and everything that they are. Like, this isn't just Darius Carter versus Trish Adora. It's two ideologies. It's two mentalities. It's two entirely different intellectuals, because we're both smart people, but we look at things in a different way, and it's a clash. That's what you want to see in wrestling. You want to see clashes. You want to see titanic clashes, and that's what I'm here to present. Every time I step in the ring, I want you to feel like it's a titanic affair. And that's why I go in there and I wrestle the way I do. That's why I'm so tight. That's why I'm so close quarters, because this is it. That bell rings, I need to win. You know what I mean? So, ring psychology to me is essential. It's the most important thing. There has to be a flow. There has to be a feeling. There has to be something that you're picking up on. You can't just be going through motions. You can't just be stepping through. That you have to feel something, and that's what I look to always make my opponent do. You're always feeling. You're always in the moment. You're never looking past me when you're in there. You can't ever think I'm an easy night. You can't ever think, oh, I'm just gonna, all right, I'm gonna play the hits.
That type of night.
That's not that type of night. I'm sorry to tell you.
Now, I was looking at something too, and I guess it's about to happen. Maybe they people was talking about it, getting you down into the Texas area. Now, if you just me when I saw that, and I know a little bit about the Texas scene. It put up like 7 or 8 matches in my head, and I was like, "Oh, Darius Carter going to Texas? It's some guys down there that he can face." How do you feel about going to these new territories and letting other people see what you can do?
And that's secretly what I've been doing over the pandemic is traveling. Because you had to go to different states because different states had different laws regarding the pandemic. So, New York was basically, dead in the water. So, and that was that's the base scene of where I am. So you got to go to other states and like PA, and you got to travel. And I've been traveling throughout this pandemic and getting farther. And again, I went from Florida to North Carolina to Pittsburgh, within a span of 3 weeks. So, flight. So, I was making my own moves and just on the hustle and just on the low. You know what I mean? Like I like the results to show, and they are showing, and then the fruits of my labor are being picked, and that's the best part of it, is when you see yourself working and then you see your payoffs before your very eyes. You know what I mean? And I've been at this for a while. I've been entering my 12th year, doing this. So it's to the point where it's like everything is coming back to me now. It's like my career retrospectives and matches and just how far I've come. You're hearing certain things more and more from people in greater positions. So, like I said, where I land, who knows? But it's been a great ride, and I'm glad that things are paying off. You can't ever think that you can't be bitter. You can't be upset. I've always been happy for people that get ahead, especially the talented ones. So it's good to see people like Holodead, for example, being on AEW. That's Holodead. I have so much respect for. We had an amazing match at Warriors of Wrestling, Intergender Warfare, a few years back, and she is such a tremendous talent and such a great mind for the business. So she was on AEW against Nyla Rose. So, that's another. It's just nice to see people get ahead. And my whole thing is I always know that I'll get to where I need to get to in time. And that's what I'm doing now. And here I am wrestling on my birthday. Paris is bumping in a big main event, in a 6-man tag main event. You know what I mean? So what can I complain about?
Yeah. Just a shout out to Holly there. She was on AEW against Nyla Rose. But y'all know we got a lot of Holly there stuff on our page. Watch her independent stuff. Don't let that AEW match be your representation of what she is out here, because it's not. Now, I always ask this when people come on, because I do have a match in my head, but I'm going to wait until after. I'm going to ask you first. If you could name 3 people that you would like to face, because this one person that's in my head, I like to see you two up against each other, but I'm going to let you go first.
3 people I would like to face, and I guess we're saying like independent wrestlers?
Independent wrestler.
Okay.
Yeah, independent. Yeah, let's go independent.
Okay. I would like Daniel Garcia. Would definitely be a match that I'd like to have. Just straight up grappling wrestling. Let's get to it. Let's get to business. Let's get to work. Let's chop it up. That would be a tremendous match for me. Lee Moriarty is another one that I feel like that one's inevitable.
Yeah,
I feel like that like I said, some of these are inevitable, and these are just matches that come and spring off the top of my mind. Would be those 2. Third person, Travis Huckabee. Let's say Travis Huckabee. That's a guy who I'd like to get in there and just get to work and get to business with. You know what I mean? There's a lot of work to be done and to be had. There's so much talent. Max the Impaler is a wrestler I'd like to compete against. And I've let them know to their face, like, we can talk about it. I'm a fearless man, because I like to see how certain people react to having their limbs twisted and to having things bent and things that in ways that they're normally not bent. I can inflict a different sort of pain on you. I'm a precision man, and I'd like to see Max the Impaler howling in pain. So there's a lot of competitors I like to get in there with. Trish was one of them, and now that's happening. So, let's see. Let's see if it's going to get spoken into existence.
The Lee and Daniel and Lee, I think those are inevitable. You mentioned Max. Let's stay in the Ring of Honor area. You versus Jonathan Gresham.
Jonathan Gresham, 100%. That's another top one. See, that's why I don't really number things, because I just have people that I know I want to get in there with. Jonathan Gresham is a top. It's not even a question. top competitor that I want to get in there with. And I wrestled him before, back in like 2013. And it was an impromptu match, and it was tremendous. But for the time, for who I was at that time. But the things we would do now, I mean, Gresham, absolutely. I mean, just about anyone that was in those pure tournaments and those pure wrestling matches, everybody that wants to talk about pure wrestling, I'm like, how are you going to have that conversation and my name doesn't come up? I mean, but that's neither here nor there, I guess. You know what I mean? You can try to ignore it, but the facts are on the wall. The writing is on the wall. You know what I mean? Come grapple with me and let's see who's good with it. You know what I mean? Darius Carter is a natural prodigy. Darius Carter is a student of the game and a master of the game, all the same. I love this business. I live this business, and I'm always thinking about this business. And the business is nice to see the business thinking about me. It's nice to see that, it's nice to, again, see rewards and to see yourself ascend after all the time and the commitment and, the hours and the days and the years and all the things that you put into it. It's all nice.
Gresham Companies. Gresham, you just made the announcement that you doing your independent little tour. If that tour doesn't go through Darius Carter at some point, it is not a successful tour. That's just me talking.
I'm just saying, we're talking business.
I'm just saying. The best girl right there, Triple B. I mean, holla at him. I'm just saying. Y'all know how to make it happen. Y'all know where we at.
And I know he wants that match too. I know he does. I don't care what he says. He'll do the match. Let's go, John.
I got to clip that and make sure I send it to him. But y'all know what to do to make that happen. Before I do our last part here, I got to ask this. I got to go into it. Why?
Why am I so great? Well, it started. It started when I emerged successfully from mother's womb.
Oh, no.
The umbilical cord was cut. I mean, what else could I say?
So that was good.
Thank you.
I want to ask. So you've been wrestling, correct me if I'm wrong, since 2009.
Yes.
To me, not saying that it wasn't happening before that, people was taking notice of you 2014, 15 a lot. And then, for whatever reason, they stopped talking about you. But now it's like another boom of your name going up. And when you talk about independent scenes now, when I sit back and I talk with other people who's wrestling fans, your name has to be mentioned, period, point blank. Like, it's not a conversation that I have where people are not saying your name. What is like when people start wrestling, they have a goal.
It's a blessing. I appreciate it.
So what is your end goal with the wrestling? Because I mean, certain people get on shows, they pulling independent talent up, and you like, why are they up there? And then you like, well, I really don't want to see independent talent I like go out there and be like that, but they could be on TV down in other places, dark and everything. But what do you think it is with, like, what's your end goal at this point? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I want to go there. And then it's like, no. Do you have an end goal at this point?
I mean, the end goal is to me, that's so dark to think about, because it's like, you don't really want it to end. You know what I mean? So for me, I have a place that I eventually want to get to. Of course, you eventually want to get to the place with the brightest lights on the biggest show. But I don't need to be there tomorrow. I don't need to be there next week, next month. I'll get to where I need to get to in that time. That growth that I'm going through, the progress that I'm going through, the leaps and bounds that I'm making and taking, it's all natural. It's all the product of hard work, continuous hard work. And now you're seeing me. And I've been keeping myself honed and crafted over the pandemic, and now things are opening up. So other people are just getting back into the game. I've never left the game. I've stayed sharp while you're resharpening. You know what I mean? And that is a contributing factor. And people see over time. They see your name, they hear your name. You got to mention Darius Carter, because I am putting in the work. I really am doing what I need to do. And I'm glad that people are getting to see that now. Because sometimes you feel like you've been doing something for a while, and people, for whatever reason, they drift in, they drift out. It gets oversaturated. I think so much of wrestling was getting oversaturated before the pandemic. And I do feel that the pandemic served as a strainer, and it just, siphoned, and it just pulled a lot of things out. And it's good, because we got to see a lot of different types of wrestling get spotlighted. We see the LGBT movement. We see all these events coming out, and all the incredible talents there and from Chikara that are getting opportunities. So we're in the right direction. Wrestling is going. I feel like this is not a rebirth per se, but it's a realigning, a readjusting of direction that is for the better.
Yeah. Like to see that. Love to see that. Now, it's over. I can say this. So, Me and Black Wrestling, it's already out, so it's on there also. We did it after the 50. I meant to talk to you the day that we was going to release that. No one's ever seen this. But we did have you on the list for after the 50. The only reason it didn't come out that day, because I was like, yo, I'm about to talk to him, and I'm going to put it up that day when we do it, and then people will know, and then we can go more into it on that day. Because I do feel that that when I saw they list, and I'm like, I know y'all ranking companies and everything, but I'm looking more at independent. So if we ever do a list, We Love Wrestling, we talked about it, it'll be an independent list that you should be somebody that people know about. And like you said, the pandemic is, I guess, we can say over, and you're starting to get booked a lot more places and people taking more notice of it. And it's a great thing to see. Also, you showing another layer, being a Black man as a businessman who's out there handling his business. It's always great to see, because it's typical Black stereotypes where you see people out here, but you're that businessman, successful. You talk your talk, and then you go out there and prove it. And when you're in the ring, you don't mind getting down and dirty and whooping somebody's ass, which this is like a Black wrestling business mogul that we have here, right here. It's him. So I thank you for doing all that, man. I do
appreciate that.
Now, our last thing we do here, this is what we call our put yourself over moment. This is
look at that.
You let the people know your social media, any ways they can support you, any things you got coming up, ways they can give you money. We just want you to put yourself over to the people.
Well, if you want to put me over, we see right here the Pro Wrestling Magic Dark Arts Championship, 171 days as the Dark Arts Champion. So we can definitely promote that, showcase my excellence. I have the most successful defenses of anyone in the promotion right now. Longest reigning current champion. So, I mean, I'm doing the business, man. I'm doing what I need to do. So you can find me, Mr. Darius Carter, on Twitter, /Mr. Darius Carter, Instagram, Facebook, all the same, all / Mr. Darius Carter. I also have a Facebook fan page which is / Wrestling's Richest Prize. This thing is so beautiful. Look at that, and I keep her polished, and I exude champion. Everywhere I go, I win championships because I am somebody you want to represent your brand. I'm somebody that you want to represent your company. You want me promoting you, talking about you, being you. And Pro Wrestling Magic, they know the business. Look at that beauty.
If you don't know, he just go follow his Twitter, like he said, and you can hear him talk about his championship higher ranked than Erica Lee and her Pro Wrestling Magic title. Like he tells it all the time. He mollywops her, so I love the back and forth. I'm telling you, I love it.
And Billy too. I mean, I beat Billy Dixon to the brink of literal death. Like, I mean, I really put him like I really it's a washcloth that is squeezed to the brim. There's no moisture left. It's just that's you know what I mean? And I beat him. It's like SpongeBob when he's dried up. Like that's how I leave Billy. And Billy still talks smack on the internet. He's got so much to say. He's so tough online. He's a typer. He's a typist. That's what he does. He clicks. He types. And then when I see him face to face, he gets smacked. And he gets his head stomped in. And the plasma's oozing from his cerebellum. You know what I mean? Come on, Billy. I can't wait to do this on my birthday. I can't wait to do what I'm going to do to you on July 10th, my day of birth. Whew, the best gift is caving this man's head in with my boot. Erica too, mop that up. Ashton Starr, sweep that up. Cooking. Kitchen's gonna be hot.
BBV versus because Darius here, he called him HOT, the House of Tomfoolery. Billy, I know y'all name, but that's what he called y'all. Erica, Aston. I like Erica, Aston. I don't know you like that, but it's gonna be a stellar match when it goes down on Saturday. Can't wait to see it whenever it is released. Darius Carter, Wrestling's Richest Prize, the All-Father. Thank you for giving me all this time, a little bit of time, just to talk to you about wrestling, because I appreciate that. Can't wait to see what else you do. And if my memory and the way I feel serves correctly, guys, probably somebody. He was 337 on the PWI last year. I'm looking for him to be a lot higher. A lot higher. I ain't gonna say no numbers, but I'm just gonna say a lot higher. If he's still in the 300s, me and PWI gonna talk. But
I'm one of the best in the world. I keep telling people. It's not even that I keep telling people. You want to know what? That's what it is. Is I don't even have to tell people. You know what I'm saying? My work is showing through. Is shining through. They're seeing it now, and you're only going to see more of it. And I'm gonna make you mad. I'm gonna make you, because there's people that they really want to not. They really don't want to put me over. They really don't want to say something nice. They bite their tongue. It's gonna be hard to bite that tongue. You'll be chomping. It's gonna be bleeding soon. I'm here to tell you, it will be. The work is far from started, so let's go.
You're gonna be man, is he? Yeah, he's there. We got to talk. You're gonna have to talk about him. I mean, just get ready for it, because he's been putting in work. Like, if you don't like the way he talks to people or anything, cool. When the bell rings to when the bell rings at the end, just watch the match. And if you come out and you're not like, he got it, I don't know what you're watching.
That means a lot, man. I appreciate that. That's true to life appreciation, and it's what I'm here to do. You want to go down like a legend. You want to be a legend. By the time you do, put up the boots. By the time that you do have an end, you want to have had a legacy. You want to be spoken about forever, and that's you want to talk about an end goal. That's the end goal, is to have a legacy, is to be somebody that everybody talks about at some point in professional wrestling. I don't care where you're at, where you're wrestling, where you are in the world, Japan, United States, Russia, Germany. I don't care. My name is something that would ring a bell. You'd be like, whoa, okay, that guy. Like, that's what I want. And this is how I got to get there. This is my way. This is my path. And no compromise needed, because all you get, what you see is what you get, getting Darius, baby. And if you want to, scoop that money off the table, and let's start going to work. Let's start going to work. Let's do business.
Let's end it right there. He just said, listen, I thank him for giving us this time. We thank you for watching. Make sure you get on his social media. Go on IWTV, a boatload of matches. Go on Title Match Network. He got a lot of matches on there. Go on Fight TV. He got some matches on there. Hey, this is the real, the authentic. This ain't the knockoff. Never mind. But like I always say, I'm Period Tradie, and if I love wrestling and you love wrestling, then we love wrestling. It's too sweet. Boy, Coach.